am a 2-time Olympian, and that is hugely impressive to some people. That was impressive to my kids until the interrogation began, and it went something like this. Did you win a medal? No. Did you win a medal? No. Did you win a medal? No. Silence, and then a pained voice. Not even a bronze? So it's a joke in our family, to the point where the kids suggested my email address should be mom@notevenabronze.com. So it's a joke in our family, but it's a familiar reality to any Olympian. Because when people find out you were in the Olympics, their very next question is always, did you win a medal? And this honestly used to really bum me out. It used to make me want to do over. And then I realized that's just the only frame of reference that most people have for the Olympic experience, when really there's so much more than medals. And as proof, you just need to look at the Olympic creed. Not to win, but to take part. Not the triumph, but the struggle. Not to have conquered, but to have fought well. So as an athlete, you're like, yeah. That's what they tell you to make you feel better about not winning a medal. But all these years down the road, I know that it's really true. So I have a blog called Racer X, and in it I do something I call parent whispering, which is just kind of talking parents down from this craziness that youth sports has become. So I talk about and I do this not from a place of knowing all the answers by any respect. This is from a place of having been there as an athlete, as a coach, and then as a parent. So I talk about the long road. And I talk about all the things I learned through sports and ski racing that has actually helped me in life. So these are things like confidence and sportsmanship and hard work and perseverance and humility and even how to survive on saltines and condiments. What I don't talk a lot about is winning. And this is not because I have anything against winning. Because like the rest of humanity, I can attest that winning is awesome. And winning and the prospect of it can be hugely motivating. It can get a bunch of 8-year-olds to sit and listen to directions. It can get middle schoolers to finish their homework ahead of time to get to the game. It can drag a high schooler out of bed at dawn to go for a run. Winning is not, and if we gave up the clocks and the scorecards, we'd all lose interest in sports pretty soon, let's be honest. So winning is not the problem, but our relationship with winning could use some therapy. So as a culture, we are infatuated with the shiny brass rings that represent the top level of achievement. So in sports, those are things like medals and titles and fame and fortune. It's also things like scholarships and sponsorships and elite selections. These are the sought-after hallmarks of a successful sports experience. And now this became clear to me when my son graduated from 5th grade. His school had a send-off. All the kids line up and they say what they think they'll be doing in 20 years. So, there's doctors curing cancer, lots of veterinarians, there's some artists, and there's some Broadway stars. But there's a theme with the boys. I'm going to be an NBA star. I'm going to be a quarterback in the NFL. I'm going to be a World Cup skier, and I live in the East. I'm going to be a Red Sox pitcher. And then a girl stands up. She says, I'm going to be a psychiatrist, and I'm going to help all these boys who think they're going to be professional athletes. Now, the reality is she can set up shop pretty soon. These kids, they're 11. 70% of kids quit organized sports by the time they're 13. And so in 2 years, they will have quit their big dream and something that they just really love to do. And why? They quit because they're not having fun or they don't feel like they're good enough. They're not winning in our narrow version of the term, so they're not making the varsity or the travel team or any of those big markers that have been in place since they were like 8 years old. So as parents and as coaches and as supporters of kids and of sport, we really need to ask ourselves, what do we want our kids to get out of this? What are the things from sports that are going to make them happier, healthier, more confident, capable people? Because those are the real prizes of sports. And I'm going to talk about a few of those. They're all F words, so they're really easy to remember. The first one is fun. And the number one reason kids quit sports is because it's no longer fun. I mean, that's why any of us quit anything, right? And when I say fun, this is not goofing around and eating snacks. A 2014 study at George Washington University called the Fun Integration Theory came up with 81 fun determinants by having participants answer the sentence, or finish the sentence. One thing that makes playing sports more fun for players is. So, at the top, there's trying your best, getting playing time, being active, winning, way down at 48. Medals, 67. Take that, kids. The next one is friends. The friends you make in sports are bomb-proof because these friendships are forged in the intense joy and intense suffering. You see these friends see you at your happy, confident, glowing best and your sad, crushed, pathetic worst. And they're there for every sort of stinky, sweaty, fun, and boring moment in between. Now, my friends were part of what would become this is a long one, the first U.S. Olympic ski team since 1968 to not win a medal. Now, we went on and had success in other areas and even in other Olympics, but that was just this Murphy's Law tough year. I wrote a book about that year, and I was looking for a title, and my sister kindly suggested, how about Loser? But when I was interviewing a medalist from a previous era, and she was actually jealous of our group and of the friendships we'd maintained. Because she said, we got the medals, but you guys got each other for life. And it was a total win, because I can guarantee you, a medal will not answer the phone at 11 p.m. and talk you through a rough spot. The next one is failure. Big buzzword. I mean, there's books about it and articles about it, and they cite everyone from Einstein to Oprah and how their failures shape them more than their successes. It's like failure is the new success. And we get it. We know, you have to put yourself out there, and you have to risk a lot, and you have to fall on your face to actually get better. And certainly, sports serves up failure, ample opportunities on a daily basis. But failure is tough, it's hard, and it's harder for adults than for kids, because our natural instinct is to protect them and to keep them from falling and failing. But protecting them is not helping. Now, the NCAA did a study that spanned 30 years. And it asked collegiate athletes to think back to their worst moments in youth and high school sports. So was it losing? No. Injury? She's kind of perky. No. Grueling workouts? No. It was the car ride home with their parents. Because after a disappointing performance, all the kids want to do is click out of athlete mode and into kid mode and move on. But the parents, they just can't let it go. But it comes from a good place, right? That you don't want them to be in pain. So what do? We console and we justify and we relive and we just grind that moment on and on. But if we know that failure is going to make us stronger, we need to just accept it and let it do its thing. Of all the bazillion quotes on failure, and there are a lot, Babe Ruth had a good one. She said, every strike brings me closer to the next home run. The last one I'm going to talk about is fear, because this was a biggie with me. I was a downhill ski racer, so my job was to fling myself down the mountain and, 80 miles an hour, rain or shine. So people would say, oh, you must be fearless. Not at all. Every time I saw a new course for the first time, I got this pit in my stomach, and I felt ill because I could not figure out how I would get myself from here, scared to death, to here, the starting gate on race day, pushing out, guns blazing. I really wanted to do this, and I liked it. I loved doing it. So I had to learn to fake it till you make it, to just take one step at a time. So in my situation, it would be going down and learning the course, and then riding the chairlift up, and then rehearsing the course back in my head, getting a good warm-up, taking the first training run. I never got over being scared, but I learned to trust the process. So if I took one step at a time, I could get to the other side of fear. So how does this work in the real world? Flash forward, done with ski racing, I get my first job offer, and it's in New York City. I grew up in Squaw Valley. Like everyone else around me, I'm sure, I'm thinking, they are going to eat her alive. There's no way. But it's a free trip to New York, so I got to go. I am an athlete. So I go to the interview, and I'm on my way back through the hood in the taxi cab, and I get this pit in my stomach, and I start to feel sick because I can't, this is something I want to do, I need to do, but I cannot figure out how I'm actually going to do it. And that's when it hits me. I have been training for this my whole life. And this happens in the real world all the time. Because standing up to fear instead of backing down from it, it's like saying yes to a world of possibilities. So what can we do? How do we make our relationship with winning more closely match our values? An easy thing is just to make a list. Winning is ... So my list would look like this. Winning is doing something that puts joy in your heart and a smile on your face. Winning is having friends who've seen you at your best and your worst, and they help you through it all. Winning is falling flat on your face, getting up, and saying, "Thank you, sir, may I have another?" Winning is knowing that fear can never stop you from doing something that you want and need to do. So I would ask, what is winning to you? Make a list. Winning is. Put it up in your team room or your kitchen or wherever it's going to get added to, and then talk about it. Talk about why those things matter. And then the important part is walk the talk. Honor that relationship and make it real by celebrating the whole spectrum of winning. If fun matters, keep it light. If perseverance matters, you got to cheer every finish. If sportsmanship matters, respect all the players and maybe pipe down on the sidelines. If teamwork matters, get everyone into the game. And if you truly think that failure is just a hairpin on the road to success, you got to accept it with grace, learn from it, and move on. And finally, one of my little pet peeves, if you must post about the whole experience, and I know many people must post about the whole messy, fabulous journey and not just the podiums. Very few of us will go on to fame and glory. Most of us will not get a shiny medal for our efforts, not even a bronze. But if we can expand our relationship with winning to include all the good stuff, all the stuff that matters, then more kids will get a chance to know what winning is. Thanks.